Hey, good morning, Dev. How are you? Or afternoon, whatever
Every
time
day's a
zone.
gift. Every day's a gift, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, good, man. Good.
Yeah.
Hey, this is looking really good. This is the home studio, right? You've done some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where I wish I could spend more time when life allows it, man. I can't wait to get in here, but for the next little while it's a lot of other things just to kind of make sure that the lights stay on, right?
We've added a few lights. It's looking really good, man. That's cool.
Yeah, well, I know I built it from scratch, right? So
Yeah.
it's been a big part of the energies that I've had to put in over the past year and a half has been with construction. Very little composition, but a lot of
Yeah.
construction. But it's almost at a point now where I'm able to be here and use it. So thank you. And I think it's if all goes to plan, it'll work really well.
Oh, I think man, I'm like looking at that and then I look at this and I go, oh, yeah.
That's cool, man. It's cool. I've got the same podcast pro, man.
Oh, yeah, they're good, eh? They just
They
released
are.
one. Well, yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
they are.
Yeah.
They are. They're really cool, actually.
Lifesaver. But how you doing, man? In general, it's been like it's a year since we spoke, give or take a week. How you going?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, man. I mean, I had to go pick up my buddy today. He got a cancerous tumor removed out of his
Oh,
stomach, and
man.
he's okay. And but it's like there's a lot of feelings of being grateful lately, just because I am doing okay. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, and the amount of things that we've had to kind of work through, not only myself, of course, but as a society and as a family and as an organization, coming out on the other side of it with the knowledge accrued from doing so
Mm.
makes me feel like, oh, I can handle a lot, actually. And that's good to know, because I think your self image can sometimes potentially be self-deprecating and just be like, oh, I'm afraid of everything and I'm not capable of anything. But then when it's thrust upon me, I'm like, oh fuck, I can deal with a lot. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like I kicked ass, and now I'm able to hopefully carve out some time to write.
And that's been on my mind a lot lately. Exactly what you just said. It's crazy,
Go
man.
on. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I've been thinking about all that stuff, like how I've been dealing with a lot personally,
Of
and
course.
I've hit walls and gone, okay, so the next one, please don't make it catastrophic, but at least I can, you don't want to wish for the worst, but you feel that you can get through stuff. It's
100%, brother. 100%. And I mean, that's every catastrophe, so to speak, that we're able to traverse and come out the other side still here. Like it's almost like you can add it to your toolbox.
Mm,
And it makes me realize the things that I really need to focus on. Like health is really important, and like your family and your mental health, like some sort of internal equilibrium, because I realize now with the state of my work and family and friends that there's a lot of people that rely on me for a lot of things. And the old adage when you're on the plane of you got to make sure you put your own air mask on first before you help other people
yes.
really applies to the sense of, well, how do you navigate your own neurosis? How do you navigate your own equilibrium, and what do you need versus what are the ramifications of any activities that you may do, and then finding pathways through it that work for you allows you to be there for the people who need you to be there, and by proxy your team's stronger. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that that's something that I'm sure we all had a topical awareness of. But it wasn't until it was put to the test over the past couple of years where you're like, wow, like you really have to be steady when shit goes fucking sideways
Yeah, man.
for the people in your life. It's for your parents even. Like, my mother calls me up. I'm fortunate to still have my mother, and I remember during the past couple of years she'd phone me up all freaked out, and we're all freaked out. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, if you're not freaked out, it calms her down. but you have to legitimately not be freaked out. And how do you do that? How do you find strength in times of chaos? And I don't know, man. I think that my objectives musically have always been the same, and they all rely on these kinds of personal insights to be uh, to be fostered. And so I'm currently in this period where there's been so much experience and so many things have happened that all these experiences are just waiting for the space to settle.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't, not yet. You know what I mean? Like I gotta, my buddy's this, and I gotta get the lawn, and I've gotta get the leaves, and I gotta my kid, and yeah, blah blah blah, blah. You know what I mean? So it's like, so all this experience that needs to turn into a piece of music is just kind of waiting now for me to get all these pieces of the puzzle in place. But I'm almost there. I'm almost there, man. So I'm excited to see what it sounds like.
I'm excited. Is that the Moth? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think the Moth, it's like everything I do tends to evolve over time. And I think Moth will be no different at this point, at least. And who knows where it's going to be? Who knows where it's actually going to land? But at this point, Moth almost seems like a blanket um, term for a number of things, whether
Oh,
or not it's a bunch of albums or a bunch of other media, or it's an Atmos thing, or it's like a characters, or if it's streaming. I don't know what it is yet, but it seems like I'm calling this period of creative output, just I just refer to it as the Moth. Um, but I don't know exactly what it's going to entail. I do know it's a lot of shit though. Like there's a lot of things that are brewing concurrently.
hmm.
So although I may not know exactly what it is yet, I have no fear that when it all finally gets done, it's going to be like an onslaught, right?
Which is, I mean, it's good for us. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
like we can't get enough, you know?
well, I mean, thank you. I think that the benefit of this one is over the past uh 15 years, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
Since Addicted though. Um my life has been a relentless treadmill of a certain routine of tour, 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 come home, blast out a record, tour, 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 tour,
Mm.
tour, come home, blast out a record, tour, you know what I mean? And although I'm reasonably proud of most of that content, so much of it was not coming from a place of what I'm hoping this is, where you put your foot on the brakes. You're like, okay, I'm not going out now. I'm going to create an environment for me to figure out where I've landed as a person and as a creative entity. And the last time I had the opportunity to do that was sitting in Ocean Machine, I guess, because
Oh
that's
wow.
before I had
Yeah.
any momentum. That's not to say that, and I guarantee that it's not going to sound like those, because we're half a lifetime or more later than that.
Mm.
But what I am saying is that the process that allowed those to be so articulate, like at the time when I was working on those, when they're done, I was able to say, yeah, I spent enough time thinking about this. I spent enough time processing why I wrote this and where I'm at, and what its intent was and why it should look the way it is, that it had a force of will behind it, that although I think I've been reasonably successful at maintaining over the course of this treadmill process,
Mm.
frankly, man, it's not the same. It hasn't been the same because I haven't had a chance to just fucking be like, dude, where are you? Where's your
Yeah.
head at?
Yeah,
Where's
man.
your head at?
And you
Because
got to.
traveling is, oh, I haven't been able to.
Yeah.
It's like, just to kind of keep the lights on, it's been like, you have to get on tour, you have to get on tour, you have to get on tour. So what I've done over the like last year and a half, dude, I've toured 6, 7 months over the past year and a half. It's just like relentless touring. So finally sat with everybody. I was like, no more for a while. Like, and they're like, well, you have to keep touring. I was like, but do I really?
Mm.
Like, well, how are you going to generate income? And I was like, I'll figure out a way. Like I'll figure it out, because the end result of being able to really sit with where I'm at and then create something, for better or for worse, that I think is accurate to where I'm at. Unless I'm proactive to carve that time out for myself, it's not going to happen, man. I'm just going to be back on tour and back on tour and back on tour. So
That wheel, man. I know. And,
yeah,
but in saying that, you are coming back down to Australia, which we're very,
yeah, it's the last run. It's the last run. It's 4 shows. I can do that, and
yeah.
then and then I've got basically a year and a half to 2 years, and then I'm sure I'll be back on the road forever again. But I mean, in that year and a half to 2 years, I'm currently just carving myself out a buffer so that I can like
Mm.
just work and not have to constantly put up content on social media or you know travel. uh you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So that when eventually I am back out again, at least I'm coming at it with a refreshed sense of like, okay, I've been through all the shit and I understand it now. I got a
Mhm.
good grasp on where I'm at. Because I'm sure it's the same with you, man. Past couple of years, people are like, where are you? Where are you at? And I'm like, I
Yeah,
have no idea. I'm just hanging on, man. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that everybody in my life is okay.
yeah, that's right.
And I'm putting all the stuff that I need to think about and turn into music in the background. And during that time, I've made tons of records too. So it's like it's a very strange kind of process. And the only way that that process is going to refine itself into something that I think is appropriate to where I'm at now is by forcibly making these steps, right?
Yeah, no, I totally understand that, man. I totally understand that for sure. But we have missed you. I will say, like, I understand
Missed
that
you
you,
too.
you know, like, I,
I love Australia, man, and I miss it there for a number of reasons. I mean, I've been there so many times. Like, I mean, holy shit! I think about the first tour that we did for City, and now you're in a nice hotel and you
mm,
fly between cities, but but that first run, we were all of us in one hostel, you know, and we traveled Australia in a splitter van going from Melbourne to Wagga, for example,
yeah, yeah,
and then putting our amps on top of like beer kegs with a kangaroo head over top of it. And I remember thinking like it was super romantic because we were younger.
yeah.
But since that time, I've been there so much, and I've had so many experiences. We recorded there, and I got tons of friends there, and you know what I mean. I got places that I like going in all these cities. It's like that. Yeah, man. Post pandemic, I'm psyched to get back because it's one of my favorite places.
Have you ever come down to the Gold Coast?
I'm not sure.
Because you've been to Brisbane like a shit ton of times
Is
and all
that
the
where
big
you are?
cities. Yeah, yeah. I'm like just south, and it's like where all the beaches and the theme parks and all that
Yeah. Oh,
stuff.
I love
Tourism,
Brisbane, man. Yeah, I
man.
love Brisbane. Yeah.
You ever get a chance?
Well, I think the thing is, it's funny. It's this seems like a real flippant way to talk about like a nice experience, but I've been trying to take family members on vacation
Yeah,
to get it out of the not get it out of the way, but it's like it's been years since anybody's been able to get away. So I just took my mom and my sister away, and I've taken my wife and son away, and and my mind is so militant at this point about like make sure everybody in your life's okay.
yes,
Because when I do start writing, when I do get back here, I want everybody to leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? So it's like, and so the people in my life who I care about, they know the deal too. I'm like, I
yeah.
love you. I'll do anything for you. I'll anything at any time. You're more important than any of this work. However, once I get going again, please just leave me the fuck alone because that's what I need more than anything else right now. Right. So we'll see how far that goes.
Great time.
Yeah.
Man, I just saw that you're reissuing Infinity as well.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited. My wife's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" I went, "I want that Infinity reissue, man."
That's great.
She's like, "Yeah, but
It's
I'm
the
looking for
naked
the
photo, man.
I that's what I was going to ask you. Is that some AI trickery or is that actually your birthday suit 2023?"
I wish that was AI trickery, man. I wouldn't have had to like put my buddy, the photographer, in such a shit position, right? Like what's funny is it's like when I first did the first
Yeah.
album cover, I was 25 or maybe a little older, 27, 28 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, just, I really enjoyed mushrooms or weed or whatever at the time. And it was all some stupid metaphor for me. And I corralled my buddy, this lady, to take the photos. And I remember at the time I thought this is what artists do. This is as natural as anything else. But hindsight being what it is, here I am 25 years later, and I'm just like, oh God. So I had to phone up my buddy Tom. I was like, listen, man, you're not gonna like this. I'm not gonna like this, but and he's like, what do you need to do? And I was like, I need to recreate this photo. He's like, oh geez, okay. so so I went and did it, and it was all right. But we tried to get it done in like 25 minutes, just to kind of, so neither of us had to stand there in such compromised positions, right? It was
Just
fun.
answering
Cool.
your phone. Sorry, mate, just got to answer the phone and like,
Yeah, yes.
and, like
Yeah.
you're like, stop
Sorry about
driving
this
down.
erection. I don't know what this is. No, that's cool, man. I mean, I think it's like, because they asked me to do the cover again, and it took me a little while to say yes for obvious reasons,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But the reason why I finally did it again is because I recognize that, for me, as a statement, what it says to me is like, oh, I back who I was back then, whether or not I relate in the
Yeah.
same way. Like, I support that dude, that kid with the bad hair that needs to have his dick out or whatever. Like, it's like, so as a statement to me, what it says is, I'm not embarrassed of this. I'm not ashamed of this. It's just, it's where I was, and this is where I am now. So don't know what to tell you.
Is
Right?
it the same recordings or has it been remixed? Have you touched it up or what do you
Yeah,
have you
we
done something?
we remastered it and added the bonus tracks, and added, there's this piece of artwork that I spent a lot of time making, that's like a 10-page book that is in the layout now, and it basically comprised what was a pivotal moment for me,
Mm.
and just tried to put all the things in there that I could, that we didn't lose in the flood at that time, because I lost all the master tapes and everything. But it was a great opportunity for me to reflect too, because that was the first album I mixed. It was the first album I produced, the first album not maybe not produced, first album I mixed, first album I engineered. And clearly I had no idea what I was doing. But now that I'm set up, and I'm reasonably good at doing what I do now, looking back at that again, it was driven by a type of passion that I got a lot of time for, man. Like,
Mm.
because you hear all that stuff nowadays, I'm like, dude, you should probably turn the kick drum up. But at the time, I was like, the existential dilemma about it was so all consuming that, I don't know. I feel like when I look back at that kid, I'm just like, man, go for it, buddy. That's great.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that
Yeah.
album, man. I've there's so many little nuggets on that album, like lyrics and stuff that have just helped
We
guide
see
my way.
that was thank you. I think I'll also include that in the period of time that I still had um uh an awareness of where I was at.
Mm.
Although by that time, City had kind of come out and found a degree of success, and Ocean Machine as well. So I had started touring by that time. I still hadn't done a lot though.
Mm.
So when Infinity was being done, I still had time to process what was going on. It was after Infinity that things just went tits up, right? Like, it was
Mm.
just Physicist, Terria, Accelerated Evolution, SYL, Alien, like Synkestra, like blah, blah, bam, 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 and just endless touring. So in a sense, and then, we had kids, and it was like Ziltoid, and then DTP, and then, so in a sense, I feel like, man, it's been so long since I've just been able to be like, okay, just give me 5 minutes, man. You know, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me just time to just make sense of where I'm at this point in my life. I'll be back as soon as I can. And during this time, I assure you that I'm not writing. It's the opposite. But it's, again, in order to get into the studio and really start writing, there were so many things that I needed to take care of. I needed to construct things. I needed to build things. I needed to solve things. I needed to figure out some sort of financial solution if I'm not going to tour. I mean, like, all these things have been taken up all the time, right? But again, asking me how am I doing, I'm really happy because so far, touch wood, my health is okay.
Yeah.
My mind is okay. I'm I'm a solid dude. I mean, like I can handle shit. So I think, man, I'm in a good place to see where I'm at. And now I know how to fucking produce and mix too. It's even better. You know,
You're gonna regret saying that because now you're gonna get a million emails going, "Oh, hey, Devin," yeah, just
about
about
oh yeah.
producing and mixing.
I dude, I no,
Oh
I don't
yeah, like
you know. I actually produced I did it I mixed a Chinese band and ended up producing it over the past couple of months
ah,
because I heard the music and I was like, this is fucking crazy. Because most of the time when you hear progressive metal now,
mm,
it it's all like Meshuggah shit with like a big chorus, you
yes,
know, um and this was alien shit in a language that I didn't understand and therefore wasn't irritated by because I wasn't having to focus on what they were saying. And the technical aspects of this band were so far above and beyond anything that I've heard that when Inside Out came out to me and said, "Would you like to work on this?" I was like, "Yeah, send me the demos." And I listened to it. I was like, "Dude, yeah, this is fucking crazy." And so I ended up doing that, and it's in mastering today. But I don't want to do anything else. In fact,
good.
I got asked by a band who was so flattering. They asked me to mix this album from a guy who I was a huge fan of, and he had
Mm.
passed away. And I said yes. I was like, of course, I would love to have my name on that. But I actually called him up a couple of months later, and I said, listen, I think I'm saying yes based on my ego,
Mm.
but I'm gonna be obsessed with whatever I do. And if I'm carving out this time for my own thing, I can't do what I always do, which is take 40 things on, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, there's no production, no mix. But I did mix this crazy Chinese thing. It's fucking cool, man.
I can't
It's
wait to
cool.
hear it. What are they
It's
called?
really
Inside
good.
Out.
No, the band's called O. It's
Oh,
it's yeah, it's just OU is the name of the band. Um,
cool.
but yeah, it's really it's I never heard anything like it. And I think because the last record that I had done with Lightwork, I had a team of producers and engineers, and it was the first time I've always wanted to see what would happen if I worked with producers and engineers, and I love the guys involved. I love Garth. I love everybody, but it was just wasn't for me, man.
Mm.
Because the parameters of what this is how we do things, and I'm like, oh, I hate this. I hate this. So at the end of Lightwork, I had to, I chose to finish it myself just so I could be at peace with the record, and I am. I think it's cool, but
Yeah, it's
the
great.
lesson that I learned from that was like, dude, that's not going to happen again. Have you're gonna have no parameters whatsoever with what you do from here on out. And so immediately being presented with this band that, like they recorded everything themselves. All I got was a single DI for the guitar and a single DI for the bass. It's like so, but because there was no structure to it, it's just
Yeah,
crazy shit. I felt like, oh, I need this right now. I just want to make something crazy. And then I can fine tune the studio with it. And that's what I did. So I was like, okay, how does the studio sound? What do these speakers sound like? Okay. And so I used this band as an opportunity to kind of figure it out. And it's cool, man. I mean, it'll maybe some people will like it. It's pretty out there though.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear
It's
it.
it's
But
really cool, man.
man, one thing I did want to ask you just before we have you got one coming through? You got another one coming through?
Yeah, I got one in like 8 minutes, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. So you still got another minute? Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to ask you about this Ziltoid comic.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it looks amazing.
Yeah, um I provided the story and I provided help with the narrative. But I've been getting emails from people saying that the company that has done it has like gone MIA,
Oh,
and Joe Satriani as well, who's a friend, strangely to say that, he's with them as well, and he wrote me recently too, and he's like, "Where are they?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't fucking know, right?" So I think it's gotten sorted out, but I've been working with management and label, just trying to wrap my head around what is actually going on, and I'm getting conflicting reports from people, but it looks like um, there's a solution because the comic, I mean, dude, of course I put a shitload of energy into it,
Yeah,
and
it looks amazing.
resources that I hope everything it will be sorted out over the next week or two, because yeah, it was great, man. And that's an example of something that I've been trying to get management and people around me to take care of, so I can just like have some income and focus on the work. But but at the same time, I'm so picky about what I do. Like they're like, oh, we should do a hot sauce or we should do a beer or something. And I tried the hot sauce. I'm like, oh, I don't like this, man. This is like doesn't taste good to me, or
Yeah, you don't want
or
to do that Krusty the Clown where it's like just slap your name on
yeah,
everything,
no, I don't.
like
I don't. So last thing I'll say is what I've done is because I've been trying to figure out how do I float myself for the next 2 years without touring, a year and a half, whatever it is. And I couldn't think of anything that didn't involve me doing shitty ads for a million companies every day. So every time you turn on social media, I'm like, my name's Devin, and I really think this is a good thing or whatever. So what I've been doing is I built a spaceship down the street that I do live streaming from,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's fucking cool. And I use the gear that gets sent to me with the live stream, and I talk about it, and then we're flying through fractals and I built this spaceship. It looks great. It's like the control panel and all the everything is like musical gear, and the guitar that I'm working on, the picks that I'm working on, the pedals that I'm working on, the software I'm working on, as opposed to just trying to sell it in a really silly way,
Mm.
sell it in a really silly way, and just to be like, this is why we developed this. Not because you need another one of those, but this is how I use it. It's like for a specific reason that I didn't have in my life before. And so, yeah, the spaceship is, yeah, man, I'm gonna call it the Ruby Quaker. That's the name of the spaceship. It's the name of a type of moth that they
Yeah,
have
that's
in the
clever.
middle of, yeah, man. Well, it was actually Matt from Fractal Axe Effects that came up with the name.
That's clever.
So yeah, man, I'm trying to find ways around it, and the comic book does seem cool, but I've just been privy to the fact that there's things that need to be sorted out, and I'm getting conflicting messages. So I'm hoping that this week I can get a solution to that. So I ask everybody for a bit more patience.
Oh man, that's what we're here for.
Awesome.
When you're ready, whenever you're ready, buddy. But hey man, in the meantime though, it's always a pleasure talking to you.
You too, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity yet again, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, in Brisbane, let's go. And I'll have all the
All
links
right.
down here and on the website. Go get your tickets now, guys. Devin, enjoy.
Cheers. Oh man, you got a British Steel mug,
I
dude.
have.
Yeah,
I
I've got a
have.
grapefruit sparkling water because heavy metal.
That's right. Well, I'm drinking water out of this British.
No one, it's our
It's
secret, buddy.
yeah. That's
I'll
the
talk to you soon,
yeah.
okay? Thanks again.
See you, man. Take care.
Cheers.